All right, well, I'm getting a late start tonight looking at this board, but I thought I'd put a little bit of time into it. The missing planet ROMs, these are called the planet ROMs. These missing ROMs, I've got some PCBs designed and being built as we speak through PCBway out of China. I'll be replacing these four guys with two 2764 board adapters that I've made for that. And these ROMs here are being should be replaced with this board, assuming it works. Hopefully it does. This PROM, this spot here is for a SYNC PROM. Now, I thought that this was needed for the reset circuit to work to the processor, but I'm mistaken. So I'm going to try to get the reset circuit working for the processor tonight. And what I figured out on that is the horizontal sync chain counters aren't working. I've got signals coming in here. I've got enable and clock on this E9 4-bit counter, but nothing's happening. So I suspect this is bad. I'm going to be replacing it. From that, this one here may or may not work. It will start getting signals to where it should work, but who knows until I can probe it. So that's what I'm going to be doing right now, is replacing that E9 and checking things. These signals, let's see, these are H signals. These are the V signals, but these V signals depend on this this horizontal sync chain. This is the vertical sync chain here. This won't work without the horizontal. Okay, so once I get all this working, then signals to the sync PROM will be happening, but it's not even needed for the reset circuit. I was mistaken that this was. That's what I thought initially. So anyway, let me get to it. I'll replace that and I'll be back. Okay, so I got that 74163 counter out, and it's still not working right. It's doing better. The outputs are starting to fluctuate or bounce, except for one. So this is pin 11. Without the chip in there, you see it's floating. Pin 12 is another output, it's floating. Pin 13 is floating. This one though, pin 14, is high. Something is shorting that pin. So I need to figure that out. I need to figure out what is shorting that pin to 5 volts. And it could be corrosion, it could be anything. But the counter, that chip was definitely bad. And I was reasonably sure it was bad because I'd had no activity at all, so I just chopped it out. That guy goes in the recycle bin. So I need to find the short before I insert the new chip, and so let me figure that out. Okay, so when I put my probe on pin 14 now, it's not high, it's floating. And all I did was I unplugged my processor board from here. And then I realized this. I had to bend these down before I could plug that in, and one of these may be shorting to the board. So I don't need these. I'm just going to remove them to give me the clearance I need, and then I'll plug it back in and see if it works, or see if the short is back. So let me do that. Well, I've removed those 4 test points that were underneath my CPU board there, and now when I probe pin 14, it's floating. So all the other ones are floating too. I'm ready to put that chip in. Let's do that. Let's see what happens. Okay. So the 4 different pins on the 4 different outputs on that. There's pin 11, 12, 13, 14, and the carry. Everything's looking good. Now, let's see what the reset signal on the processor is doing. Well, reset looks like it's high. Maybe it's pulsing, can't tell. Let me adjust this trigger level. That didn't help. Okay, so getting a constant reset, but that's progress. Before it was just always low. All right, so now I can continue. The processor's trying to do something, it's got to reset. So assuming this board here is good, then I don't know. I'll just start probing around and see if I see anything obvious. All right, well, this is as far as I can go without this SYNC PROM. I got the reset circuit working. That was repaired by replacing this counter and the TL082 chip here. That's got it constantly resetting. Now, the reason it's constantly resetting is the processor requires an interrupt request signal, and that's generated from this path here, which is the SYNC PROM that I have missing. So until I get that resolved, these signals here won't be here to generate the interrupt request and also the VPLA signals. Both of those are going to be required for the board to be able to run. The V-blank and V-blank bar, those are for stable video, and also the sync and the composite sync, which comes from this path of logic, as you can see. Those also will be needed for stable signal. But for the program to run, must have that sync chip, must have interrupt request and VPLA signals. Well, that's it until I get my boards in. I don't have one of these chips. This SYNC PROM may have been standard for several boards. I don't think I have one. I'll search around. But since I may not have one, I may have to wait until I get my boards from PCBway. And it's going to look weird. There's going to be this little bitty socket with a big board on it with a large chip the size of this EEPROM. So it'll look strange, but it will work. And I'll be able to program it, and it should be plenty fast for that position. Well, I guess that's all I can say about this. So I'm done until I get either a PROM or the boards from PCBway. Thanks for watching.